Hey guys, I'm Mezzy. Welcome back to another first look video. The last new dungeon on the War Within Alpha is Ara-kara, City of Echoes. This won't be like my usual quick start guide videos. It'll be a full playthrough of the dungeon as I test and learn the mechanics. Okay, Ara-kara, the last of the dungeons that for our first look. This is the yeah, 8th dungeon from the War Within. So Ara-kara City of Echoes has only 3 bosses this time. Let's see. This looks really cool, actually. So far, nothing to interrupt. Oh, what's that? That standing in there gave a stacking debuff. I'm guessing like on, what's her name? Senarth, I think. You probably get webbed at a certain amount of stacks. And Toxic Rupture seems to be uninterruptible and you can't kill it. Okay. Ah, there's no map at all. Like Court of Stars. Oh! Ah, okay. So I haven't leveled tailoring on this character. But if they say it's like Court of Stars, that means you can lure maybe the lieutenants out, or maybe it's a buff. That's interesting. Come on, pets, go. Are all of these for tailoring? Discordant Attendant. Has to be then. Yeah, yeah. Okay, interesting. I don't have my pets set up to what I want. Every alpha phase you have to redo the character setup. And you always forget something. I'm guessing you have to kill each of these then. This is just a dot, right? Yeah. So, despite it clearly being a smaller dungeon, it still feels very big. This just looks fantastic. I'm really happy they've gone this route with the design of dungeons, this expansion. Oh, do we not have to kill that lieutenant first? Or is there something more we have to do before we can? Yeah. Hall of the Brood. That's just some non-elites. And there was web spray on the ground, which wasn't very obvious. There's a lot of spiders around here. Well, that's different. Apparently there's a shortage of DPS in the queue. Maybe that's why I got into the queue for the dungeon before this one so quickly. Well, that's good news for me. Okay. Just kill this one quickly. Then we can move on to the main event. So, cone on the ground, watch out. A lot going on. Are these just the boss's mechanics then? Holy shit. That's quite the spider type boss thing. I mean, that has to be the boss, right? Yeah, Avanox. That's definitely a creepy crawly. Okay. I see eggs on the ground, like, with the trash. So definitely don't stand in them. He has a lot of health. Let's go ahead and use our cooldowns then. Alerting Shrill. Oh, okay. So those ads spawned from the eggs? Damage done increased by 30%. It's stacking. So the longer that the ads are up, the more damage they'll do. Gossamer Onslaught, Swirls. And that's the puddle on the ground. Let me check. Yeah, debuff. So if I would have to hazard a guess, that would be the same like this, where you get a stacking debuff. Oh dear. Let's hope that doesn't keep erroring. Alright, let's check out the journal. Avanox. Avanox leaps to their primary target. Unleashes 3 bites, each inflicting nearly 1 million physical damage, and increases physical damage taken by no, not physical damage, all damage taken by 50% for 12 seconds on the final bite at least. So the tank takes a bunch of damage and then they keep taking additional damage. Alerting Shrill, dealing AoE damage to everyone, and summons the ads that we saw. And the ads increase, the webbing increases their movement speed by 100%. And Hunger fixates on a random player and increases damage done by 10% every 3 seconds in this text. Okay, so this is the buff that we saw on the ads. So we just need to kill the ads. And then there's Gossamer Onslaught. Toxic Webs. So move out of the swirls. Because otherwise you take damage, logically. And, here. Standing on the webs reduces your movement speed by 30%. It deals damage to you and this effect stacks. At 10 stacks, the webbing develops into a web wrap. And that incapacitates you for 10 seconds, but it is magic dispellable. But yeah, like I thought this is like Senarth in Vault of the Incarnates, where the longer you stand on the web, the higher the debuff goes. But unlike Senarth, this falls off you as soon as you leave the web. So obviously, don't stand on it. There's really no reason you should ever be getting web wrapped. Ooh, what's this? Your abilities have a chance to steer the sack, releasing an egg which grants you agility. Each egg hatches every 1 minute, and the new brood attacks your targets. Ooh, don't mind if I do. Instead of the hastes. The next is Anub'zekt, so that has to be a Nobarak type of boss. I mean, this is back to where we started. Can we not go this way? There is a flyer up there. But the priest is going that way. Oh, the joys of a new dungeon. Let's check it out then. Oh, is this perhaps a way to get back if you die and release? It has to be, yeah, because the path was open. Damage and healing increased by 30%. This stacks. That's thank you. Impale, watch out. We better use cooldowns. A lot is getting pulled. I'm sure I targeted the web mage before I pressed my interrupts. Problem is the PTR is, or not PTR, the alpha is obviously in the US. So there's more of a latency going on. Okay, what does this do? Oh, it absorbs healing. So that means you can either poison the spell, or you can heal it off. Alarm shrill. Okay, something's gonna happen, and we're about to find out what. Oh, it summons... more of these, what you call it? I'm completely blanking on the type of boss that Anub'zekt is. I mean, obviously he's a Nerubian, but isn't there a specific term for this type of Nerubian? I'm sure I'll remember after I finish recording, because that's how these things usually go. You know, this trinket summons ads, right? New brood attacks your next target, yeah. So this summons some type of guardian pet type thing. It would be awesome if these guardians would benefit from your pack leader hero talents. Because they are pets that I summon, technically. See what I mean? I interrupted this and it just starts casting the next thing right away. That's such a frustrating design choice. I really wish they would stop doing that. Okay, stun that to stop the Anub'zekt-like creature from spawning. Okay, so now we've killed a ton of trash. How do we know we're going the right way? Because I'm pretty sure we're circling back now. Yeah, this is just circling back. So... there. Anub'zekt. This way? Yeah. A lot less linear, the dungeons of this week. Or at least less clearly so. Impale, what's that? Oh, there's a... Are they following me? No. Burrow charge, so move away from me. And right into Impale. Oh. These swarms do seem to be following you, at least to choose direction. Eye of the Swarm. There's a big circle. Ah, oh dear. Okay, so the safe zone moves, and in the meantime, Impale is happening as well. This is a very chaotic fight. Okay, but the abilities are clear. The Impale, the cone, obviously move out of it. Move away from the bugs. Stand in the big circle when that ability happens. Did he have an energy bar? Yes, I guess so. So I guess that's at 100%. Well, we'll check the journal. Okay, Anub'zekt. Launches a cone of spikes. Yeah, move out of that. Burrow charge. Okay, that did go on me. They burrow through a random distant player to the other side of the arena. Yeah, inflicting damage and slightly knocking back all players in its path. Fair enough. But at the end of the path that erupts from the earth, inflicting a sizable amount of physical damage and heavily knocking back nearby players before casting Impale at a random player. Okay, so he charges to you and does the Impale cone right away as well. So my one question for this ability is, because I didn't really understand that from the one test, is after he targets you, can you move out of the area, or does he follow you, right? Because if he follows you, then just make sure you're away from other players. But if he doesn't follow you, right, he chooses your position and then charges, then you can move out of it, right? And that would be a whole lot better. So we'll have to wait and see for that one. Then we have Infestation. Anub'zekt calls upon a swarm to feast upon a random player. Okay, so that's a dot. And then it puts out the orbs that we saw. Ceaseless Swarm. The swarm prowls the arena to devour the enemies. Every 1 second they are in contact with the player, then leave a dot. Reducing movement speed by 3, that'll be 30%. And lingers for 2 seconds, and this stacks. Right, so obviously don't stand in the orbs. They're basically just a swarm of insects. And let me see. The yeah, what was it? The orbs went directly to a player, right? So you need to dodge them, and they make you move very often. Then at 100 energy, something we saw at the very end, I have the Swarm, which was the giant circle. A Master Swarm covers the arena, forcing all players into a close range to fight Anub'zekt, right? So obviously move into the circle, and while you're not in the circle, you gain stacks of the swarm dots. And while in the circle, Anub'zekt will constantly cast Impale and Infestation to slaughter their foes. Right, so there's a lot of movement going on. And Infestation is the dot, right? Yeah. So where do we go now? This looks great. Do we jump off? Can we go here? No. Well, this can't be right. Well, normally the answer to if your friends jump off of a bridge, do you as well? The answer is no. But I think in this case we should. I mean, it could be, of course, that's just like the boss from Dawnbreaker. This is just bugged, which is actually kind of an ironic phrase given the dungeon we're currently doing. But okay, we can continue. But in this case, the jumping off was the absolutely right thing to do. Lots and lots of swirls. Sometimes I do wonder how WoW could innovate on mechanics, because a lot of dungeons, a lot of abilities are just the same thing over and over, right? Interrupt this, get out of this cone, get out of the swirl. There's the same thing happening in a lot of ways over and over again. It's Black Blood. Black Blood, isn't that Old God blood? Or of... was it Irsage? Might have just been old gods in general. That definitely looks like the last boss. Interesting. I mean, we did have a blood type fight in the last one as well, didn't we? With the orbs in the last dungeon. Right. That's actually a very short run from the second to third boss. Most of the trash is in the first area, I would say. Second area is okay, we just killed too much because we ran around not knowing where to go. This is just a quick couple packs. Let's find out. What do you do, Harvester? Okay, that's a really cool hero talent. Okay, so no swirls. Wait, what was that? Blood Worker. Volley, a dot with a movement speed reduction. I assume move away from that. Oh dear. No dear. Oh. That was very sudden. Okay, so clearly there's something we need to do with these ads, right? But as soon as we touch them once, they stop. So the question is, what are they actually supposed to be doing? Because I see them getting feared, but I don't think that's a fear that's applied to us. Interesting. We need to check the journal on this one. We're clearly missing some information here. Okay, moving on to the last one. Kikatal the Harvester. Right, so the blood workers. I did not fully get what was going on there. They carry black blood. Any damage taken causes them to drop it and flee. We did see that. Standing in the puddle will cause it to root the target for 1 minute, increasing damage. And the puddle can then be destroyed to free the player. Right, but what if you just don't stand in it? Is there anything that happens with the blood? Okay. Hopefully we'll find out. Cosmic Singularity. Pulls in all places. Okay, so that was the big ability, right? That pulls you in, and it had that sudden yoink at the very end before it's finished. So when it finishes the cast, all players within 10 yards get a lot of damage. 1.3 million shadow damage, wow. And are knocked away, right? Okay, so obviously don't stand in it. But if you are hit, it reduces your damage done by 75%. That's a lot. And increases your damage taken by 25% for 12 seconds. That's really, really bad. You really cannot be hit by Cosmic Singularity. Huh. Okay, the big yoink at the end was not great then. Maybe they should make that more gradual then. Okay. Venom Volley. Just an AoE that also reduces your movement speed. There's a lot of that, by the way. In both Ara-kara, City of Echoes, and the City of Threads, there's a lot of movement speed reduction going on. Is that the mechanic of Season 1? They always repeat a certain mechanic a lot. Whether it's swirls, whether it's knockbacks, stuff like camera shenanigans in Season 3, for example, from Dragonflight. There's always something. Huh, okay. Anyway, erupting webs, spider webs. Okay, don't stand in the swirls. And if you do get hit, you get stunned for 6 seconds. So this is a really punishing boss. a 6-second stun, and an ability that reduces your damage done by 75% for 12 seconds. That's kind of nutty. Compared to anything else we've seen in any of the 8 dungeons, this is really punishing. So, well, that's interesting though, because that means, at least on normal, there's no ability at all that interacts with the black blood puddles on the ground. There's no reason to go into the blood to get rooted and then, for example, to use Hand of Freedom, Blessing of Freedom, to just remove the roots completely. So I'm guessing, I'm hoping, I suppose, that on Mythic there will be an interaction with this then, because otherwise just hit the ads once and don't stand in it. Actually, there's a second component I'm missing here. Because right now, there's actually no reason at all to hit the Bloodworkers at all. They seem to be moving towards the boss, but if we don't hit them, they didn't really seem to do anything, right? So there's a lot that seems to be missing from this encounter that will have to be added on Mythic. Overall, I like the dungeon though. Tailors get some usefulness in the trash before the first boss. And as a very... hang on a second. Excuse me. As a very elusive hunter tailor myself, it means there's something I can bring to the party on Ara-kara City of Echoes. So that's going to be fun. Honestly, the longest part of this dungeon was just finding our way around, right? The trash, other than in the first part, I will say, actually. But trash went down pretty quickly. There's not a long run between the second and third boss. So yeah, overall, it should be pretty good. And honestly, I've been saying that for 8 dungeons now, right? This is our last first look video, because this is the last dungeon we could test on the alpha. And it's a really good set of dungeons all around, so can't wait to see more. I'm looking forward to the Mythic testing, because that'll be the next thing. Because there's no other dungeon to first look at. So this is going to be the last one for now. I'm not sure what else I'll do in terms of alpha content on the channel, but we'll see. Nevertheless, I will be streaming it every week. An alpha, or at least I try to stream it every week. I want to do at least one session over on Twitch on the alpha per build. So if you're interested in that stuff, be sure to check out my Twitter and my Twitch, because I do post more things about WoW over on Twitter. I stream not just the alpha, but also my at least some of my Mythic Plus sessions over on Twitch. So if you're interested in watching that or just hanging out, do follow me so you get a notification when I go live, because I do not have a set streaming schedule. And actually, one additional thing, something very limited time, is over on Twitter. I currently have a giveaway running. Blizzard was kind enough to give me 2 codes for the Cataclysm Classic Epic upgrade pack. That gives stuff like the Ragnaros Elemental Mount in retail. There's transmog stuff in Classic. Yeah, there's a bunch of really nice goodies in that Epic pack. So if you're interested in it, head over to Twitter to check out the giveaway. It'll be running until May 15th. So a couple days after this video comes out. And yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe and all the usual stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'm Mezzy, and I'll see you again next time.